How many people get an allowance in here? And what's an allowance? I would think my man who knows about the financial aspects of everything, I would have thought you got that. Okay, so first of all, what is an allowance? Who can tell me what an allowance is? Yes, ma'am, what is an allowance? Okay, got a little shy, maybe. Okay, yes, what is an allowance?
It's when you do chores and you can earn money.
Ooh, you do chores and earn money. Okay, so what do you think is a good amount if you did some chores, maybe cleaning your room? I think those are just responsibilities. But let's say you live in one of those homes that they say, okay, you did some chores, maybe you cleaned up, you did something, and you got some money. What do you think, maybe $5 a week? You make 19? 19 a week, okay. So $5. So you would think maybe as a kid you could get $1 a day or something like that? Okay, so this is what the workers who work 12 hours a day, 6 days a week, they make less than $1 a day. That's what it is. It's 3,000 shillings, and it's 3,700 as $1. Can they buy a TV? They cannot buy a TV with that. Okay, so I visited some of these places, and what it is the sugarcane factory owner and the plantation owner, they call it a plantation, they put up small little houses, and they bring in refugees from South Sudan and North Sudan, and maybe from Chad, maybe from Congo, people that have had a really tough life. They bring them in, and because people really want jobs, and so they work for less than $1 a day, and they live in a terrible place. And guess what? It is sad, like super, super, super sad. I felt so bad for him. It actually reminded me in history class when we learned about slavery in the U.S. and how people worked, how people owned other people, and it was a terrible, terrible thing. And they made them work, and they just gave them a little bit of food, and they were cool to them. That's what it reminded me of. And they move there with their families, and they stay there because that's the only way that they can eat. And it's real, and it's true, and I saw it. And so this is what we're doing. We're going to put libraries in there so that when those kids grow up, they won't have to work in the sugarcane fields and the sugarcane factories, because they'll have an education and they'll be able to get better paying jobs. Which that's an awesome thing, because you guys are going to help out with that. But beyond that, we have an agreement with them that we'll be able to tell all about Jesus when we go in. And so we're training people to go in there to tell all about Jesus. Isn't that a pretty cool thing? And you know what? There's usually, the one place we went had 600 children that lived with with their mom and dad there. So, I mean, there's lots and lots of kids, and we're going to be able to make a difference in their lives, and we have 3 of those. So between all of that, that's more than 1,000 kids that you guys are going to help to give an education to. That's a pretty awesome thing. I think you guys should give you guys a hand. No, and I'm super excited about that. So we'll be in those 3 places, but it is because you guys are doing your part, right? So everybody has a job to do, but it's for one purpose. Well, I'm going to talk about, I have about till 10 after, something like that? Okay. I'm trying to budget my time, and my brain is not working exactly how it should because I traveled too much and I didn't get enough sleep. But so we're going to talk about doing your part. You know, the Bible, Paul was talking, some people were arguing about who is doing more for the gospel, and the gospel is just the good news. And Paul said, well, listen, some people, like me, they're going to plant. They're going to be the one that tells somebody about Jesus that directly. Somebody else might be the one that talks them to the next time, and that's watering. But Paul said, but most importantly, there's one person that gives the increase, meaning there's one person that actually helps people to be born again. And who is that? Who saves people? Jesus, that's right. So I have a part to play, and it might be, I'm the one, I got a big blessing. I'm the one that gets to go there. I just spent a whole month in Africa. and I love my job, and I get to tell people about Jesus. And so I get to be kind of somebody that plants, and somebody else might be somebody that waters. You guys did your part by bringing in what? Books. That's right, and each part is very, very important. Paul said, everybody's job is very important because everybody plays a part in that. What do we have up here? Candy. But in this candy, it's set up kind of like some toys you play with. What's it set up like? Dominoes. Have you ever played real dominoes with the numbers? Not where you line them up. Like where you match up the numbers, yeah. So that's another fun game. But we play with dominoes, and you set them up like this, or you make like a tower out of them. You guys ever make a tower? Who has ever made a tower out of like Jenga pieces or domino pieces, and somebody came up and like on purpose bumped the table and it fell over? Oh, isn't that the worst? That is the worst. Okay, put your hands down. Okay, so let's pretend let's pretend that each one of these is a Christian that's doing their part, right? A Christian that's doing their part. Okay. So maybe this one, their part, they do other things, but their part is, we would call them a prayer warrior. And they pray and they pray. There's one lady that I see, I think she stays just for the first time, or the first chapel session, but every time I've come in here, she is praying. And she walks around, and sometimes her eyes are closed, and I hear her whispering, Jesus, please be with the person that sits here, and I pray that they would listen. Her job is being a prayer warrior. What a great, awesome thing, right? I like to pray, but I wouldn't call myself a prayer warrior. I pray, but you know what happens sometimes? I'll try to pray for a long time, and I'll start praying, and then I'll go, and Lord, please. And I fall asleep, and I feel bad about it, but I wouldn't call myself a prayer warrior. I like to go and I like to tell, and God has called some people to be real good prayer warriors. So maybe somebody is praying. Maybe somebody is collecting what? Candy? No, collecting books. Maybe somebody is collecting books. Maybe somebody is printing books. One of the things that we do, the ministry that I work for, is we print books all about Jesus. So maybe somebody is printing, maybe somebody is working a regular job and they're giving tithes and offerings. Like on Sunday, maybe there's a plate that passes by, maybe people give it in the back. We all go to different churches, but sometimes that money goes in the offering and they support people that go to be missionaries. And maybe, what are some of the other things? Maybe it's somebody that's just directly telling somebody. Did you guys ever tell somebody about Jesus? No. Never? You did before? Good job. That's awesome. So when Miss Penix was little, she would tell her uncle, would be your great-great-uncle? Great-great-uncle, who was 96 when he died. She would go up and she would say, Uncle Elma, because she talked a little different when she was little, just really cute. Now she's got a big girl voice, but she'd say, Uncle Elma, I love you and Jesus wants you to be saved. And he'd be like, oh, okay. And she would start to talk to him, and he'd pretend that he didn't hear her or understand. And do you remember stuff like that? It was great. And eventually, Uncle Elmer got saved. But so she would tell people about Jesus. And do you know what is a cool thing? At your guys' age, a lot of times people listen to you better than they listen to adults. And so God could use you that. So we all have a different job to do, but we're all trying to spread the gospel. We're all trying to be part of the kingdom of God. Kind of like firemen. Do you guys know, anybody know any firemen in here? Somebody knows some firemen? Miss Penix had a uncle who was a fireman, and Angie's husband was a fireman, and we have different fire. Do you know, what is a fireman's job? To fight fires and save lives. That's their job. But does a fireman need support to do their job? So what are some different things? Let's see. What are some different jobs? Could I have help from a teacher? Yeah. You can stay there, do it. Okay, so we're going to think of some different jobs that, well, first of all, a fireman, he actually is there holding the hose, spraying, and putting out the fire. So we'll call that job just putting out the fire. So just write putting out the fire. You can write it big because we're going to do it all on separate pages. And then I need somebody that will actually be the fireman putting out fires. Who can it be? Yes, ma'am. Yes, please come up. We shall henceforth refer to her as the firewoman. Okay, so you take your paper. Okay, so she is a firewoman, and her job is, she is actually the end person. You're holding that hose, you're putting out the fire. Okay, so turn it around and stand up there like this. Like this. Can you stand like this? Okay, let's see. Oh, look at that. She did a good job. You can stand however you're comfortable. Okay, so her job is putting out the fires. So what would some other jobs be that are all part of fighting fires and saving lives? Yes, sir. What do you think? Okay. Yes, ma'am. Not a police officer. So specifically, what is something else? Yes. Okay. This is, real quick, put your hands down. So this is how it works. I ask a question. If you think you know the answer and you want to say it, you put your hand up. Then I'll say, oh, what's your answer? And then you'll say what your answer is. You don't go, I don't even know why, but I don't know what's going on. Okay? So what are some of the other jobs, maybe at a fire station, that people do? Yes, sir. Well, that's why I pointed to him. That's okay. Yes, sir. Okay, somebody drives the fire truck. Please come up. So, driving the fire truck, okay? Yes, sir. Behind you. I'm sorry. Ooh, the jaws of life person. Come on up. Okay. Or let's see, I don't know, whatever you want to call that, the extractor. He said the person who gets the people out of the cars. Okay. How about this? What do firemen wear? They usually wear like a Hawaiian shirt, some swimming trunks, goggles like for going snorkeling. They don't wear that stuff? Are you sure? Okay, so what do they wear? They wear their uniforms. Okay, so whoever's making the uniforms, whatever that looks like. Okay, you can go grab that paper. Okay, so somebody has to make the uniforms. How about, yes, sir. Yes. So we already have that person. What about how do they know where to go? Do they just are like, hey, do you guys smell that? It smells like there's a fire. Let's. Is that what they do? No. So what do they have to have? They have to have, starts with a D. It's called a dispatcher. So can you come up? Okay, so now we have a dispatcher. Okay, all right. Whose rear end knocked that over? Oh my goodness. That's all right. We'll set it back up. Okay. So a dispatcher. Okay. What other jobs maybe could there be? What happens if the fire truck breaks down? They have to what? Have a what?
Say mechanic?
Yes, mechanic. Okay, come on up. He actually said say mechanic. That was great. Okay, here. He is the mechanic. Okay. So it seems like there's more people than just somebody who puts out the fire. Okay, go on over and get the mechanic. Okay. In the beautiful blue tie, the very handsome blue tie. Yeah. Ooh, a paramedic. So they're the ones that actually is trying to save the person's life by like doing chest compressions and then come on up. So now we have a paramedic as part of that team. Okay. So just like here, the school needs funds to operate, right? Yeah, the school has to have funds to operate. Because the teacher's crazy enough, they would like some type of pay. So that's how it is. So there has to be funds. So where do the funds come from? Where does the money come from to pay for fire trucks? Let's see who knows this. Yes, ma'am. It does come from the bank, but it comes from taxpayers. So you come up and you are a taxpayer. Okay. Okay, so that's it. Everybody put your hands down. Okay, so now we have a taxpayer. All right. So everybody get in a line. Let's see, where is putting out the fire? Okay, so you come here and you come here. You guys be on the ends. Okay. All right. Now just stand there. Okay, mechanic, you could be in here somewhere. I mean, basically anybody can be here and the taxpayer is there. Okay, paramedic, you come up here too. Okay. All right. So what if one of these people says, I'm not going to do my job? What if the person making uniforms? Making uniforms, just sit down right where you're at. Just sit. And then they go like this. She's taking the day off. Okay, so now what's going to happen when these firemen, this fire woman goes in? Where's her uniform at? She doesn't have one. So if she goes into a burning building to put a fire out and all she has on is her school uniform, she's not going to make it very far, is she? Because why? Because somebody didn't do their part. Okay, stand up. She's back on the job. Okay, how about the dispatcher? You had too many pilmeni. You were full. You just don't feel like going in, so sit down. Oh, he's tired now. He's done. Ugh, he's not doing his job today. So is the job going to get done? No. Okay, so these all are part of a team that fights fires and saves lives. What do? They fight lives and save fires. No, they don't do that. They fight fires. Everybody say, fight fires and save lives. Okay, so what do?
I fight fires and save lives and drive a truck.
And he drives a truck. So his part in this is driving a truck. So what do you do? When I say what do, you say fight fires and save lives. What do?
Fight fires and save lives.
But he's a paramedic. He doesn't really fight fires and save lives. His job is just a paramedic. But it's part of the bigger thing where he's part of a bigger plan to fight fires and save lives, even though he has a specific job. All right, the mechanic. How's it going, mechanic? So what do?
Fight fires and save lives.
Very good. But your job is to do what?
Mechanic.
A mechanic. So he can't just say, I'm not going to do my job, right? See, all of these people, what is what you do? You
Fight fires and save lives.
What do they do? That's right. Now, we might have a different part. Just like Paul said, I have a different part than somebody else does. And then, put your hands down for a second. And so my job is going to look different from yours. I travel. I go to different places. And so that's my job. But guess what? How many libraries would open if nobody else helped me do and was part of my team? How many libraries would open? 0. How many of those kids whose parents are refugees would get an opportunity for an education if I'm the only one that was doing anything? You guys did your part by listening to the leadership here and saying, we are going to try to make a difference. So because you did your part and they did their part and I did my part and everybody did their part, then God comes in and says, I'm going to take care of things. Because really, it's all about him. You guys can have a seat. Thank you. You can keep your papers. Okay, so listen, because everybody does their part. So let's set this back up. No. I don't know. Okay, so let's set these back up. Since somebody's rear end knocked them over, I'm not going to name any names, but you know who you are. Okay, so we'll set these back up. You'd think that these would set up a little bit easier, but they don't. Okay. Okay, so this Swedish fish here, what's it going to do when it falls over? It's going to knock down what? The next Swedish fish. Well, so this one's job isn't to knock them all down, is it? It's just to do its job to knock the next one down. How about this nerd's? So this nerd's job, he has one job, it's just to knock the next one down. But is his job important? Absolutely. What if he's like, I'm taking a break. I'm not going to do my job. No. The best way that we can serve the Lord and we could move forward for him is to say we're going to come together. We're all going to do our part. And my part connected to yours, connected to theirs, connected to theirs. There's going to be some awesome things done for the kingdom of God. That's what we're all serving for. We're all trying to do that, and guess what? Your guys' so you're making a huge, I can't tell you the impact that you're going to have. It is, I am so excited. I cried. I'm not a big crier. Actually, when Miss Penix was like, she didn't see me cry. I think she was like 15 or something when Russ died, right? That was the first time she ever saw me cry. Now I'm kind of turning sensitive, and I cry more. But I cried when I heard, when I got the email that you guys had raised, brought together 8,000 books, especially knowing that we're going to now open up opportunities for kids that do not have opportunities at all. You guys are making a difference because you did your part. So, when this one knocks down, his job is just to knock the next one down, right? And then next one, next one, next one. So we pull any of them out, it doesn't work well, does it? So when we all do our part, then what's going to happen? Can I have, are you waiting to announce the person that got the most books? Or do they already know? Right this second. Okay, so I will allow the person who has won to be announced right now, and then they can knock our button down, and then we'll have a special.
Go ahead, drum roll. I don't remember the number. It's over 800 books came from Mallory Marzinski. Come on down.
Awesome. 800 books. Guess what, Mallory? I think what I'm pretty sure we're going to do, and since I get to make those decisions, we're going to name one of the satellite locations Mallory's Library. Isn't that going to be cool? And we'll put because we can print banners there pretty easy, we'll have a little thing that says, Mallory's Library, we love you. All right? All right, so here's your gift card. You're welcome. And you're also going to get some spirit wear from the school, so that's exciting. And we're going to let you knock off to show everybody when we all do our part, what happens. All right. Ready? 1, 2, 3. All right, good job. Thank you, Mallory. All right, thank you guys so much. I'm super excited. We're going to keep you updated and listen, I'll give one piece of candy to all your teachers, and they'll divide it into like 25 pieces. It's going to be tough because it's just one sucker. No, I'm just joking. We'll give each of your teachers enough that you guys each get one piece of candy, and we'll keep you updated. And I want you to bug your principal and Pastor Jeremy and tell them that one of them should visit the schools next year. All right? Thank you.
Thank you, Pastor Justin. You guys did such an amazing job. It's very cool that our school building can supply all of that for kids all over the world, isn't it? You guys have done an amazing thing. All right. Are you ready for some Eagle Awards? That's a crazy guy, isn't it? No, we're not playing the song. All right, Eagle Awards, here we go. Miss Marcus's class. Are you ready? Eagle behavior for Jack Krause. All right, Mrs. Pennick's class. Eagle behavior, Aubrey Murphy. Mrs. Fince's class. Eagle behavior, Usteem. Good job, Usteem. Mrs. Purse's class. Eagle behavior, Damian Dymack. Eagle behavior, Mrs. Purse's class, Addie Lewis. I have some special Mrs. Bass awards. She's not in here, but there's some coming for all the grades, don't worry. All right, fastest elementary typist. Did you know that was a thing? Fastest typer in elementary school, Ava Gentry. Ava is also in the over 30 words per minute typing club. Good job, Ava. Over 20 words per minute typing club, Ashlyn Martin. 20 words. Then I have the over 15 words typing club. Hold on, I'm going to say a bunch of them, so stay in your seats for just 1 second. Ryan Curtis, Layla Cardona, and Princess and Hudson, who's not here. Come on down. Ryan, Princess, Speedy Typists. Great job. All right, listen to your teachers and have a great day. Oh, wait, freeze, hold on. Hold on, I lied. Just kidding. Second grade, Mrs. Okay, we did announce this on Monday, but just so that everyone also knows, Mrs. Fince's class brought in 2,200 books for this library. They will be getting pizza at a later date. And a pound of candy per student. All right, have a great day, go. I'm about to take them back.